Well, here we go again. Brett Interactive pulling me out of retirement for yet another video. As many of you know, I've been vocal of Threat Interactive for some time now, and he's been doing his best to silence me as best he can through bunk DMCA strikes, blocking me on every online outlet, even going so far as using the contributions of his own donors to pay a law firm to send me a cease and desist. Still not convinced? Then all you have to do is look at his partner in crime who blatantly rejoices how they will silence any criticism. Reminds me of another dictator. You can see the correlations too, as she's an author of such books as this gem. Can't wait to see the reason behind this video strike. In any case, Threat Interactive finally came out and made a video itemizing each major question his critics have had, and to no one's surprise, it's just a whole bunch of baloney. So let us begin down the rabbit hole once more, starting with question 1. The first question he answers was the question of when are you releasing your game? And to no one's surprise, he goes on to blame the engine, saying we won't make a game until technology has caught up to our demands. His exact words. However, true pioneers create the technology, tools, and systems required to blaze ahead. In layman terms, winners win, losers make excuses. To prove it, here's a tiny sneak peek of our own game, Hidden Empire. Too early to properly announce, but nonetheless, a testament to the fact that developers develop and phonies make excuses. Kevin has effectively put the cart before the horse, criticizing something by which he knows nothing about while simultaneously making excuses as to why he won't do the work to get the necessary experience required to create competent and compelling arguments for a subject which he claims to care so much about. A true testament of the modern age where inexperienced half-wits grift on trendy topics to fuel the flames of online hate. Question number 2. Now, what is the status of the modified Unreal Engine fork? Now, again, and you'll see the pattern, his video is comprised entirely of excuses with very little answers. Why hasn't he worked on it? Well, the pay piggies online just haven't given him enough monies. He's barely getting by, although he has the money to have lawyers draft documents, which clearly didn't work, by the way. He even clearly states your contributions can't fund graphics programming development, even though that is the sole commitment he made as to where your money would be going, clear as day, in previous videos. The fact of the matter is, doers do, like this creator, who actually made an answer to the TAA grift TI loves to talk about by developing his own CMAA 2. This man didn't ask for near $1 million to do it. He didn't come up with excuses as to why he can't do it. He simply just did it. Then put it out there for the world. The simple fact is, TI hasn't created anything other than a base of misinformed gamers griefing developers. He also claims he's using his YouTube channel to secure investor funding, but listen, as someone who actually meets investors, who creates pitch documents, who meets with these people, I'll tell you, they don't really care about your YouTube views. All they care about is, can you execute on what you brought to them? And in Kevin's case, the answer is no, he can't. It's also worth stating that a lot of these tech companies are actually open to offering studios free hardware, including high-end hardware and even unreleased technologies, if you can provide for them a compelling reason as to why, as well as if you go through the proper channels. But yet again, Kevin's inexperience shows here, as well as his clear inability to understand some very basic Investor 101 information. Question 3. Will you keep making videos in the future? Now, he goes on to defend the reasons as to why his experience scripting for views is of more value than making a game, when the truth is, he himself lacks the experience to properly articulate nuanced views on the subject of game development. That is the core of a lot of game devs' criticism around him. It's not that he's critical of Unreal Engine, it's that his approach, mixed with technical jargon to mask his own ignorance, combined with literally zero experience developing anything in Unreal Engine, is a recipe for misleading already upset gamers who look to him for answers when before his own YouTube channel, he was just some kid on Unreal Engine forums crying about his graphics card was too cheap to run the engine efficiently. Like, that is his true origin story, and that is the reason he makes his videos. It's not for some benevolent reason, Kevin up here on a cross, taking the hits for the sins of others. No, His first post on Unreal Engine forums was him complaining one of the UE demos didn't load nanite meshes because his card didn't have DX12. Like, this coupled with a failed pull request he submitted on GitHub, which was rejected because it effectively made anti-aliasing worse, not better, is the true beginning of his villain story. Question 4. This one's quick, and it's the most telling, which is, are you going to make a UE5 course? This is the most telling one because he straight up tells you that we are not a UE5 dev channel. He's not a developer. He's telling you blatantly straight out, he's not a developer. He doesn't develop anything. He explains as much throughout the video as well. Question 5. Didn't you burn bridges? The short answer, Kevin, is yes. Yes, you did. However, he claims to have made industry connections, but the irony is, during this segment, he says how he's not interested in you, in your game, in your problems. He's focusing on developing his game. His exact words. Even though in the first section, he says he abandoned his game for the full-time grift. He also goes on to claim that him and only him are the reason as to the industry is changing, saying quite literally that because of the content he puts out, developers and gamers do care, even though he also mentions how people have been clamoring for changes for 8+ years before he came on the scene. But now that he's here, the industry will bow to the sheer might of his narcissism. Question 6. Couldn't you have just been polite? The answer, of course, is no, he couldn't, as a true narcissist is entrenched in their own god complex. He goes on to say how Epic never listened to him before, and well, they're not listening to him now. He's still the same guy crying on forums, being laughed at by developers and studios. The only thing that's changed is he was platformed by Asmongold. That's it. He wants you to believe he's some tough guy. Meanwhile, he curls in a ball and has his girlfriend DMCA strike every video in opposition. He removes any criticism on Reddit, blocks users all the time. All of this even culminating in him shutting down his own Discord, as you can't just silence the masses. I myself invited him on for a debate, offer still stands by the way, a chance to clear his name, to speak directly with someone in the industry live and for you to watch, but a coward can only ever feign strength. Question 7. What do you say to your critics? Now, he says he invites people to prove him wrong, but silences them when they do. He won't even do a debate. He claims his friends stabbed him in the back, and I met some of these friends. They're now my friends. I've heard their stories, and it sounds more like these people were tired of being talked down to from some inexperienced goober too high on his own supply. Even his language. He's doing this to force the gaming industry into what it should be, the hubris, the pure narcissism. To think that you and you alone, with your no experience, and not just in the industry, but with the engine in general, with programming in general, that you and you alone have the vision, the understanding, if only they would listen to poor old you. You could change everything. Change happens through action, not complaining. All this time, he could have honed his skills, gotten in the industry, and actually made changes. He could be actually developing his own game, building a strong studio built on development to show and lead newer developers as to how things should be done, but instead he just complains, because that's all he can do. Whines and cries, even going so far as forsaking these people in the industry he claims to know by his own words, saying he's not interested in their games, he's not interested in helping you, and why would he? Well, Kevin, why not? You're not developing your own game, and here are people who, for whatever reason, are coming to you for advice, wanting your help. Now, you could help them. You could show them how it's done, oh mighty cringe interactive. But you say no. To those devs, by the way, there is another way. My Discord channel, for example, is a great place to speak your mind and get help on your game development. It is full of talented devs and artists alike, and we'll take you in. If Kevin's going to leave you out in the rain, I'll provide you shelter. In any case, I'll leave you all with this, made by one of our own Discord members, the Ballad of Kevin the Bold. See you guys later.
In a garage with an Intel chip, old Kevin dreamt big, his heart fierce and bold. With nanite he clashed, but the blur was a beast. TAA's fuzzy haze killed his frame rate deceased. Cursed blur he did wail to the stars up above. This engine's a villain, unfit for my love. To YouTube he sped like a rocket on fire, with Anakin thumbnails all edgy, dire. he sneered, though no game had he made. His rants hit the net like a clown on parade. Threat Interactive born, our founder he'd crow. A crisp, unreal fork was his dream to bestow. On X he threw shade, called out coders with spite, blocked foes with a strike like a troll in the night. Us versus them, he did chant to his band, while Reddit just laughed, where's your game, my man? His vid struck a chord, 200,000 they drew, but no game emerged, just his wild screamy brew. Oh Kevin, you nut with no title to claim, your blur hating quest is a meme. Worthy game, you're a toy that no one asked for. You should touch some grass, your opinions that nobody asked for. You only end up looking like an ass. Will you banish the haze or just rant till you're blue? Your Skywalker flares got the net in a stew. So hail Kevin Saga, the goofiest we've known, a pixel mad dreamer in Blur's Battles on.